What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and it's pretty late, and the episode is also pretty late. It's supposed to come out sometime last week, and I know, I get it. I'm terrible at my job. Thank God. Well, good at my job, bad at this, bad at podcasting. Hopefully, though, today's short, sweet episode will make up for that. It will hopefully be a little bit spooky since Halloween is literally right around the corner. If you're listening to this on the 30th, which is when I'll probably post this at like 10 o'clock at night, then you know tomorrow's Halloween. And then if not, you're listening. This is the Halloween episode, basically. And I think I got a good story for you guys this week. So I'm excited for the spooky Texas tale we got for you today. And then later this week, I will try to get another episode recorded for you guys to make up for not having one for last week. So I apologize. It was my fault. I'm trying to get the house ready for Halloween, get it ready for the kids and the candy and the treats and lights and music, because I want people to be entertained when they come to the house, even though it's going to be, maybe for a minute or two just to grab the candy and then leave. But I want them to remember my house, and hopefully, it makes them want to come next year because they're excited. They know it's going to be great, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That being said, I won't be here on Halloween because I have to work, which sucks, and it breaks my heart because this is like the one holiday I look so forward to, because it's just a whole bunch of fun. I loved last year when I got to hand out the Pokemon card treats. It's like the trade or treat Pokemon Boo. I can't remember the freaking, I think it was like trick or trade Pokemon cards, and it's little 3 or 4 card packs. A lot of fun. Some of them have holographics in them, some of them don't, but they all have like a Halloween stamp to them, which I think is really cool. And so I'm hoping to, my wife will be the one passing them out, but I'm hoping that kids have a good time with it. Last year, they seemed to really love them and be really excited about them. So I'm hoping that continues this year. And then I just become known as the Pokemon Card House, which I think would be really cool. I've also been looking at some of like my older comics that I really don't read anymore, and like some of my old cards that like I don't really have room for or don't really have a need for, because I'm not playing Pokemon cards. I'm just collecting a certain set of them. So maybe next year, if I'm off, I can package like handmade treats with like better cards, comic books, things like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I know, what is it? Not Free Comic Book Day, but there's like a Halloween comic book event that happens around this time of year. I can't remember. I don't think it's on Halloween. I think it was this past weekend, and maybe trying to get involved with that somehow for next Halloween, where I could get a bunch of comics to be able to give away for Halloween. I think that'd be a lot of fun and a real treat for the kids in the area, because one, we don't have a comic book shop, we don't have a card store, we don't have anything like that. So like kids in my town have no idea what some of this stuff is, stuff that when I was living in Houston was like an everyday thing for me and a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it and enjoyed the people that I met doing it. And so hopefully I can bring something to that closer to home. Hell, if I had the money and like the ability, I would at least attempt to open up my own type of store like that. Hell, I think that's why I don't have the heart to tell Casey to quit playing the lotto, because I'm kind of hoping one day she might actually hit it and we'll win the millions, the mega millions. And then I can say, screw it. I just open up my own little hobby shop where I can do like who knows, Warhammer, D&D nights, cards, and all the fun stuff like you get out of, I don't know, like a Houston and Austin, something like that. Because, man, I feel like the town, although it's very small, it's on the cusp. Like it just, I've always felt like my town needs something like that because we don't have anything like that. We don't have any game store, any place where people can go just to hang out, to like play just like board games, card games, just anything. Yeah. And not that it's like, oh, you have to go to someone's house, but once you start getting older, it's harder to just make friends to go hang out at people's houses. It's a lot easier to have a central location where people can go hang out and play games there. And I would love for something like that in this town, but I'm too scared to attempt it because that's a huge financial burden that I just cannot afford to take unless I win the Mega Millions. And then it's something I'm willing to take. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe I can find someone who has a bunch of money to fund this endeavor. I just got to scour the internet, get on Facebook and see who just got cash to burn. I need a sugar daddy. Anyway, this week, guys, before we get into the spooky Texas story, I don't really have much. No nifty nerd news for this episode. I just want to say I've been playing video games, been reading manga, and that's pretty much it. The manga I've been reading, actually, there's an anime I've been watching here recently, now that I think about it, but along with the manga that I've been reading, I think we talked about it a little bit before. It's called Frieren. It's about an elf who was part of a hero party, and eventually, like most humans, they get old and pass away. However, the elf, lives for, who knows, a couple thousand years, if not more. So it's about her, one, kind of realizing, or like finding her humanity. I think that's the best way to say it. It is about an elf finding her humanity and trying to not relive the past, but try to remember the adventures that she had with the heroes party and learn from it to be a better person and to have better relationships with people now. Because although for her is like 10 years is barely 100th of her life, like she shouldn't just throw it away or look down upon that small chunk of time, because for a lot of people 10 years means everything, and I think it's an interesting look at a character who, although doesn't really quite admit it, wants to be better and wants to do better. And so it's a good story. It's fun. It's kind of calming. Like this anime, it's really calm. There are bits of action in it, and so it's not just like a boring slice of life type thing. It is very slice of life feel, but there's a purpose to their journey. They have a place that they want to get to, like an end goal. So it's not like, hey, today we're going to do this, today we're going to do that, and there's really no direction or anything. There's very much a direction of where they want to go, and it's just very interesting. The people that they meet, the creatures that they encounter, and the little quirks that everyone has, that kind of makes these people who seem super normal a little more normal and a little more human, which is fun. It's interesting, and I really enjoy the art, or like, it is the art, the artwork, the animation. That's the word I'm looking for. And the voice acting is really good too. Like I said, it's kind of calming in a way. It's really nice, and then there's bits of action sprinkled in on top, so you don't get bored with it. It's fun. I really suggest it if you're looking for something new to watch. It's Frieren. I think there's 7 or 8 episodes out now, and if you like watching dubbed, there's for sure 6 dubbed episodes, maybe 7 by the time this comes out. I don't know exactly, but check it out. The other thing, I've been reading One Piece some more. I'm like 650 chapters in, I think, or 635, something like that. 53 or 35. They have gone to spoilers, but they've made it and left Fishman Island at this time, and they're now going to the New World. So if you are familiar with One Piece, you know that the Grand Line that they sail on, like if you watch the live action, you know the whole point is to get to the Grand Line and things like that. Well, in the anime where I'm at, they have sailed the first half of the Grand Line because the world is basically split into two halves through like a ring of land that encircles the earth. And one half, like one of these oceans, you have the north, east, south, and west blue oceans. And so the first half is like the regular Grand Line. And then the second half of the Grand Line is called the New World. And so now they're going into the New World where the enemies are going to be even stronger, even scarier, things that have transpired up to this point. There's definitely a big bad who is very terrifying. And I don't know how that's going to happen, like how that's all going to play out. Because to my knowledge, the anime, they haven't even confronted him yet. Like, because I'm all caught up on the anime. And now I'm catching up on the manga because the manga does go beyond the anime. And it's just very interesting. I'm very curious to see how who appears to be the big bad final boss of the show, or which I'm assuming the story, the final big bad, how he's going to come back into their lives and how that's going to play out. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. And what made it reading the manga of One Piece really a lot of fun was kind of picturing how they would do the live action versions of what I was reading. But once I've gotten to where I'm at, to like where Fishman Island is, I've almost completely forgotten about trying to break up the chapters into live action seasons because I've just been so caught up with what's been going on with the story, what's been going on with the characters, their development, the time skip that happens, and them coming back together. Like, it's been really interesting. And on the time skip, what I love so much about it is we don't dwell on it. It's not something where we go off and we spend chapters with each character finding out how they've developed and stuff. It's very much events leading up to the time skip happen, and then Luffy says, like, has a big announcement, and then the time skip, and then it's them coming back together, and it's not a long drawn out thing, which I love. I love that it's not long and drawn out. I love that it happened, we're back, and now everyone's pretty much leveled up, and we're gonna go kick some ass. Like, I love that. I love that so much about the story. The only other thing that I've really been doing is I've been back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I've been playing the DLC, the Teal Mask, which honestly is a very lackluster story. Other than the fact that they introduced some, I say new Pokemon, but older Pokemon that weren't in the base Scarlet and Violet game. They've reintroduced some Pokemon new to the series, or new to that series, in this DLC. But the story itself, it's really kind of dull. It's really actually kind of lame, to be honest. And you do get a legendary, or I guess you could call it a legendary, a special Pokemon from the Teal Mask. And I haven't had a chance to really fight with him or battle with him yet, because I'm just not really that interested in this Pokemon at all, which kind of sucks because there's like 3 other special Pokemon that get introduced in the story, and while I'm not 100% complete with the game, it doesn't look like you get to catch them, and that's kind of sad. But maybe I do. Maybe I do get to catch them, and so that would make me a little bit happier if I got to at least get like 4 unique Pokemon out of this DLC, because the story's not all that great. There's no real change in mechanics or anything like groundbreaking that happens in this DLC. It's funny because It's like I miss playing Pokemon Legends Arceus or Arceus, whatever it's called. Arceus, 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 whatever. And because the mechanics of that game and how that one plays, so much more entertaining, so much quicker paced, and a lot of fun. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy like being able to quick battle in Scarlet and Violet, and that's a really unique thing and a lot of fun. But being able to like sneak up on Pokemon and just spam Pokeballs to try to catch them has its perks too that I really enjoy. It makes sneaking around a little more viable and a little more like you want to sneak around. You want to crawl in the grass and try to sneak up on Pokemon. And Scarlet and Violet, doesn't matter. Just run up on something. And it's not like they're going to really run away from you at all. By the time you run up on them, it's already too late for them to go anywhere. So, I don't know. Scarlet and Violet just kind of loses some of that sense of fear that I had with Pokemon Legends Arceus, because you could actually get hurt by Pokemon in Arceus, which was a lot of fun. Can't in Scarlet and Violet, which is a lot less fun. I think they need to add the like the ability to actually die. It needs to be Dark Souls, but for Pokemon. That's what I want out of a Pokemon game. Anyway, that is it, guys, for everything that I wanted to talk about this week. Let's get on to I don't know why I paused there. That was really weird. Let's move on. That's what I meant. Let's move on. That's why I paused. My brain died when I said that, and I was like, that's not the right words. Let's move on to the spooky story of the week. The Halloween spooky story of the week. All right, guys, so this week's story takes us to the Dallas area to a man-made lake called White Rock Lake. It was a reservoir that was built in the early 1900s for the city of Dallas. Soon after it was built, though, I guess the city of Dallas never really used it as their primary source of water after that, and people decided, hey, it's a cool place to hang out, so they started building vacation homes, started boat ramps, all that great stuff, man. This was like way back, like World War I type shit, when people are building all these vacation homes and cabins on the lake shore. And it's a nice place away from the city, out in nature, to really just kind of sit back and relax, man. I mean, people were flocking there by like the thousands, just to like go out there, have some fun. You can do some fishing and stuff like that. But it didn't take very long after people started living there for kind of weird things starting to happen, man. It's funny though, because like I mentioned earlier, there's really quite a bit of different versions of similar stories like this. And in fact, there's kind of different stories from White Rock Lake as well, and there's different versions of the Lady of White Rock Lake that exist to this day. And so as the story goes, one story has it where there's a young man driving in his car by the lakeside road. It's getting kind of late at night, and he happens to see there's a girl standing there. Like she's got a broken down car, and she flags him down. He pulls over, and this is like, I want to preface this with, it's like the 60s at this point, but he kind of notices the girl seems kind of dressed outdated, maybe like early 20s type era clothing, and he thinks it's kind of weird. She's soaking wet because it's raining outside, and he decides to be a gentleman because, back then people were nice and not murderers all the time. So he asks her where she's trying to get to. She gives him an address, or like shows him the way, and he starts driving along and ends up getting to where the house is. And when he turns to tell the girl, all right, we're here, she's not in the passenger seat anymore. And she didn't get out of the car, nothing. She's just gone. And it's like she just vanished out of thin air. Was she even real? Like, was the dude drunk? Like, what the hell happened? So a story like this has happened before. Eventually, he like kind of was like, well, I came all this way for this house for a reason. So he goes up, knocks on the door of the house, and he's greeted by a family there. And as it turns out, this family a long time ago lost their daughter. Like, it's an old man. He talks about losing his daughter into the lake, and fell out of the boat and drowned in the lake like years, like decades before. And so it's like a really crazy story, like of this girl just wanting to come back home to see her family. And it's kind of sad, but it's kind of sweet. It's also a little bit spooky, man, because like there's multiple instances of this happening. People seeing a young woman on the side of the road, looking for help. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's not, but every time she appears to be soaking wet. And maybe it's because she's out of the lake, but she wants to go back home, and so she's looking for help. Another version of this is it's like people have been on the boat, and like they're sitting on the water, they're having fun, and they can see someone standing on the edge of the lake, and it looks like that they're shouting at them, but they can't hear anything, they can't see anything, or they can't see anything, but like all they can see is kind of like what looks to be a person on the shore of the lake. And when people try to drive their boats closer to investigate, see what's going on, the person vanishes. And so it's really kind of crazy. It's kind of spooky. Stories have been told about the Lady of White Rock Lake all the way up from, like I said, like from like the 60s to like currently, man. So it's stuff that's been happening, and it's been going on for a while now. And I kind of looked into this, and I did come across an article that mentioned White Rock Lake. And while I didn't dive too deep into it, I did link to two other stories. There's actually, sorry, I spaced there. There's actually some possible evidence of why there might be something at White Rock Lakes area, the the lake, White Rocks Lakes. So supposedly there have actually been 2 reported deaths in the water. One of them being a suicide by a young girl going into the water and drowning herself. And then, of course, the story of the girl who fell off the boat. And so maybe there is some truth to like the spooky things that are happening up near Dallas's White Rock Lake. Why is that so hard for me to say? I don't know. I thought it was really cool. There's just really interesting things. Hell, paranormal investigators have gone to the White Rock Lake to investigate, and they've even gotten readings on like EMF recorders, and like they've just done some, like what they do, and they do things right. And I think that's kind of interesting, man. I don't know if there's any current stuff about the Lady of White Rock Lake. Like, have people investigated any further? Actually, I can look it up right now while we're here, and I have a computer because I'm not talking about it while I'm driving for once, which is normally what I do when I record. And now Google is just not loading. So there it is. Let's see. The Lady of White Rock Lake. For the love of the lake. They have their own website. Let's see what that says. The Lady of Lake legend grows. That's pretty interesting, man. I was hoping to see if there's any more recent news on the matter. WFAA reported 3 weeks ago, nothing on record confirms the lake's infamous ghost story, but many other people have died there. Oh man, it's crazy though, man. I really enjoy it. I really think it's pretty neat. Like I said, love Texas ghost stories. That's like one of my favorite things to talk about and read about. And hopefully, this is one, although I kind of stumbled my way through it, you enjoyed. If you live in the Dallas area or thought about visiting it, maybe take a trip over to White Rock Lake. I could say it right. I just have to think about it and see for yourself if you can find the lady there. Maybe help her get home or uh, make it to the edge of the lake and help whoever it is before they fall in. That being said, that's all that I got for you guys this week. Just hopefully I get another episode out before the end of the week. If not, I'm sorry, and it just wasn't meant to be. Because now we're about to be in November, which means spooky season is over, and I have failed you. But that's because I've been greatly distracted with Pokemon cards because, as I have admitted in the past, I have an addiction and I cannot be stopped. And I am sorry, and I don't know what to do with myself. I think I won't stop until I've completed the Pokemon 151 Master Set. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. And hopefully, I can accomplish this task this weekend in Houston at the George R. Brown Convention Center at the Houston Collecticon, which is a card show. It ranges from everything from, Pokemon and other trading card game cards to sports cards. There's going to be celebrity guests there, voice actors. It should be a whole lot of fun. I believe tickets are $30 a day to get in or $45 for the weekend. So if you're looking for something to do in Houston, Texas this weekend, go check it out. Also, don't forget the Texas Renaissance Fair is happening. I think Thanksgiving weekend is the last weekend that you can go. My wife and I, we want to try to take a trip up there at some point. We thought about possibly going this weekend. This weekend, I think, is Heroes and Villains. It looks kind of like, Marvel and DC type themed Renaissance Fair, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. Like, they got to cash in on something, right? Then there's Barbarian Weekend the following weekend, and after that, I think is the one we might go to, which was Scottish Weekend. I think that one would be a lot of fun. So we're trying to go one of these weekends. I think the Scottish Weekend is the one I want to shoot for. My foot, sorry, fell asleep. But yeah, so hopefully the Collecticon here in Houston will be a great opportunity for me to complete my card list and complete my addiction. I'm close to my end goal. I only need 21 cards to finish what I've got. Total, I kind of looked at a median price point for all the cards. So some of them sell for lower, some of them have gone for higher, but these are all the medium, like the median level of funds required to acquire these cards. Wow, I'm using big words here. That being said, with the 21 cards that I need, which are all the secret illustrations or the rare illustrations, it's going to cost me around $526. Now, I might get lucky and get some of these cards for cheaper. Who knows? I don't know how. I've never been to a card show convention, so I don't know what prices are going to be like there. But at least I have kind of a base idea of what these cards might cost. And so I'm looking at about $500, hopefully only. I think when I looked at all of the lowest prices these cards have gone for, it was only going to be like $470. Let me see right here, $477. So like a $50 difference between the median price and the lowest price. But that being said, I also have like duplicates of some cards and some cards that are, I say expensive, but in the 40s and 30s. So I got a few of that, maybe about $100-$200 worth of cards to try to trade or offer up for sale. So I'm hoping that that brings down my total money that I'm going to end up spending to less than 500, hopefully closer to 400 or even less than 400. So that way I don't feel so bad spending all that money to complete my Pokemon 151 set. And then I've thought about going for the like all reverse hollows ultimate master set. So like in all of the normal cards, the base 165 cards, collect all the reverse hollows. So that way every card that I have in there is holographic, which I think would be a lot of fun. With that, though, I need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25, 26, 20. I need 28 cards, but the price goal for that is way less. I think I only need about $22 to complete that version of the set. So really, my first goal is to try to get all the rare illustrations and secret rare or hyper rare. Actually, I have all the hyper rare cards, funny enough. And I got like duplicates of the hyper rare cards. But like the Charizard EX full art, like secret illustration, still escaping me. The Blastoise, which is another one. Like the two most expensive cards right now are the Charizard EX, which is card number 199, and the Blastoise EX, which is card number 200. Charizard median price is about 130, and the Blastoise median price is about 56 right now. I've seen Charizard as low as 110, and I've seen Blastoise around 45, but those are the two big hitters, the ones that are going to cost me, a majority of the funds that I need to get these cards done. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see if I can get this done. I'll be really excited if I can, but if I can't, I know I can order them online, which, I mean, is fine. Ordering cards online is okay, and I've done it, and I still felt happy getting these cards in, but there's just something special about going to a store, going to a location, and physically purchasing an item. Like, there's just something that can't be beat about the tactile ability to physically touch something, or like, just like being there and interacting with people. There's just something amazing about that I've always loved. It's why I love going to stores to find things to buy versus just ordering off Amazon. Don't get me wrong, I understand how convenient Amazon is and how wonderful it is to be able to just pick up a card and go, but man, I just really love the ability to just face to face with a person, with an item, and be happy that way. Anyway, that's all that I got for you guys this week. Thank you for listening to the show, and we will see you guys next time. Bry-Fy out.